My name is Dr. Rain Rouse. I am a physician scientist and leukemia and lymphoma specialist at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas.
My name's Joey, and I'm a PBSC donor. Today I'm going to be watching Dr. Rouse as she explains the PBSC donation process and sharing my personal experience about the donation.
The first step is that the donor will attend an informational session. This session is important because it provides the donor with all of the information they need about every step of the process. The donor will be set up for a physical exam, and they will undergo questionnaires about their health status. And this is really important because it ensures that the donor is still fit to donate, but it also ensures that there is nothing about the donor's health history that could potentially be a risk for the patient.
Okay, so the informational session is definitely super short. Those questions, though, they could be very detailed and it could take a very long time, so be prepared for that.
Filgrastim is a medication that is given by injection, and this medication is used to stimulate and mobilize the peripheral blood stem cells from the bone marrow where they normally live out into the blood so that they're accessible and are able to be collected from the donor. In order to get the filgrastim injections, donors will go to a collection site or a clinic. Most peripheral blood stem cell donations occur on the last day of the filgrastim injection, which is usually day 5. The filgrastim shots can be a little uncomfortable, but they typically don't cause too much pain. Because they're subcutaneous, so they're injected right underneath the surface of the skin, you might feel a little bit of a sting, but after that, the pain is typically gone.
The shot itself was pretty easy. I wouldn't say it hurt really, but I do have a fear of needles that I've been working on.
Filgrastim shots are extremely safe and have been studied in over 40,000 donors. The side effects are typically mild and usually can include muscle aches or bone aches. Some donors will also report headache or fatigue, excessive tiredness. Fortunately, these symptoms, if they occur, usually are gone within 72 hours or 3 days after the last injection.
I feel like a different way of saying it is that you're gonna feel like an elderly person for about 5 days. For me, that meant like stiffness, and then I'm telling you, I felt like I was hunched over for 5 days, and then I took the Tylenol and I was like, okay, I'm back to youthful Joey.
On the day of the actual peripheral blood stem cell collection, the donor typically starts pretty early. They arrive at the collection site. They usually will receive the last injection of filgrastim and then have their complete blood cell count taken to make sure that enough stem cells have mobilized from the bone marrow out into the blood. The time that it takes to collect the peripheral blood stem cells can be up to about 6 to 8 hours. This is because the donor is placed on the pheresis machine, meaning the blood actually is collected from their body, is filtered through the machine, and then is returned back to them. Donating peripheral blood stem cells is actually a pretty painless process. Once the process is complete, there will be a bag, literally a collection of stem cells. The donor will be checked out, make sure all is well. They will have the IVs removed, monitored for a short period of time, and they typically are able to go home the same day. Some donors will report feeling a bit more tired than usual, perhaps having a little bit of achiness left over from the filgrastim injections, but also things like headache. Fortunately, most donors are back to normal within 4 to 5 days after the collection.
My donation process was really short. After I got my blood work drawn and the last shot was injected, they actually prepped for me to start the donation process. For me, that took all of 4 hours. During that time, I got to watch TV and eat food and play games. Really, they have like a lot of game systems. I had a whole team of people that were advocating for me.
African Americans are the least likely to find a bone marrow match in the current registry. Part of this is because lots of African Americans have some hesitancy about the medical system. It's really, really important that if you have questions, go to the Be The Match website, look at the testimonials, look at the videos, hear from donors themselves. Use this information with the trusted information from healthcare professionals, many who look like you, to help make the best decision. It is so important that people who are African American, people who are Hispanic, that we get out, that we empower ourselves with the knowledge about the process, that we sign up to the bone marrow registry, and that if we are called to be a potential donor, we pick up the phone and we follow through.
I did not know at the time when I signed up for donating that it was going to be so eye-opening to see that there are so few people that look like me on the registry. Be the Match does a phenomenal job in making sure that every question you have is answered. There's no surprises at all when it comes to donating.